At the beginning of the career, I had very high expectations. I wanted to be rich, I wanted to drive a nice car, and I wanted to live in a nice house. Now, I live in an elderly home with Harley. Things don't always go to plan. My now current budget was way off of my estimated budget, and I chose brown for my board background. At the beginning of the career, we were asked to take several different tests and surveys to decide which career and career clusters we would get put in. In the end, I got put into science, technology, engineering and math, and arts, AV, technology, and communications. I decided to go with principal architect as my job. As a principal architect, I have to be able to manage others, communicate, plan and design structures, and use math in everyday tasks. I'm in charge of delivering construction documents, I lead all design work, and I am in charge of a firm, and I work with clients to help them during projects. I also have to be detail-oriented. This matches with how I like things to be perfect and accurate, and I don't like to make mistakes. This also piqued many of my personal interests, as I enjoy math, art, and design. I have to be able to draw both hand and computer and come up with new innovative ideas and focus on the smallest of details and the biggest of projects. Before I decided to be an architect, I had chosen my top 3 career choices: principal architect, physician, and chemist. I then narrowed it down between physician and architect before I finally decided to go with architect. This made physician my opportunity cost. Now, you're probably wondering, what in the world is an opportunity cost? Well, an opportunity cost is the second best option, or the alternative to the first choice. I went with architect because while physician had a great salary, I realized that was really the only thing I liked about it, while architecture offered many things I enjoyed, and I found it easier to explain exactly why I chose it. To be an architect, I have to have a bachelor's or master's degree in architecture with a state architecture license, which I get from having experience on job, a proper education, and passing an examination. Choosing this job did not come without positive and negative incentives. Some obvious positives is it would be something I enjoy and I'd be able to make a living while doing it. It can be both a solitary and a group profession, which is my ideal working style, and it opens up many different opportunities to other careers. However, some negatives are the job a lot of times can be spent sitting in front of the computer or in meetings. It can be very taxing on my mental and physical state, and the stress can end up building up. It also involves communication, which means I have to write instructions, manage activities of people in construction. My work environment varies greatly, as I do not have any set hours, and I am instead given deadlines. A lot of times I'm working in an office with supplies I need to get my job done, and I am self-employed. And if I am self-employed, I work from home. When we were first given our salaries after I chose my job, at first I was disappointed. As my estimated budget, I needed to make at least $70,000 per year and $6,000 per month, when in actuality, I was making $48,500 per year and $4,041.67 per month. Taxes knocked off $1,003.18 from my budget, and my apartment, which I had estimated costing me $1,500, only costed me $384.50 after splitting the cost with the roommate. My car costed me $143.75 per month, and transportation totaled $466.75. Food costed me $300, medical insurance costed me $321, and toiletries costed me $65. My discretionary cost totaled to $859.66, $70 of which was spent on my pet fish bird. I tried to make him pay rent for his tank, but he was too selfish. After making my budget, I also had to make many different trade-offs. I traded having a nice apartment to be able to pay for my 5 years at college. I traded having a nice car to be able to pay for my apartment. I traded money going towards clothes and furniture to pay for medical insurance. And I traded money going towards entertainment to pay for my pets and my phone bill. On my pie chart, my taxes take up about a fourth of my budget, which is 25%, and everything else balanced out between 5 and 12%, except for discretionary and toiletries, which took up 22% and 5%. My school loans were 11% of my budget and totaled to $458.33 for 5 years at KU. When looking at colleges, I had narrowed it down between 2 options, KU and Michigan. KU would be 5 years for a master's, and Michigan would be 4 years for a bachelor's. They both offered many different extracurricular opportunities, but Michigan offered many more than KU. However, the big deciding factor between these two was in-state and out-of-state costs. While KU was in-state, Michigan was out-of-state, which meant that KU would be the cheaper choice and ultimately the better option. To find all this information, I had to use many different websites and articles. I used Career Cruising, which helped with finding my career. I use study.com, which helped with learning about my career license. I use Career Grad and Career One Stop to help with finding out more career information. And I use studentaid.gov to help with finding out what my responsibilities were. These articles helped me with finding out more about my career, how much I made, and what my daily tasks would be. One of the most important things to me about the career intern was making my mark. I want to be able to make my difference. I want to be able to make things for people in need and build houses for those who do not have them. I want to make other people's lives easier. I also want to build something of importance. You see things like the Statue of Liberty, or the Eiffel Tower, or the St. Louis Arch. Those are the kinds of things I want to one day be able to build and leave my mark on this world. I think one thing I have taken away from the career is that not everything goes as planned. Robert Powell once said, "There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failures." Like Root told us when he first gave us our salaries, we aren't just going to start at the top. We're going to have to work our way up there before we finally get there. A lot of things are different than what we wanted. Just because we know what we're going to be now doesn't necessarily mean we know what we're going to be in the future. The best way to predict your future is to create it, and that quote's from Abraham Lincoln. These jobs are probably not our futures, but they are a representation of what our futures might be like and how we can make a difference.